So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back from the break. I hope you're all refreshed, had some drinks, a bit of food, and that you're ready for an afternoon of talks that will continue with this first presentation I'm doing about the DALIM ES video viewer. So just allow me to introduce myself quickly. My name is Liam Bell. I'm an apprentice here at DALIM Software, and I work in the marketing department. So today, I'm going to talk to you about video production with DALIM ES, and more specifically, how the video viewer can benefit your video production processes. So by the end of this presentation, I hope I'll have convinced you that having a video strategy is quite important, and that you have a bit more of an idea of what kind of tools you can use to help pump it up. So let's begin with a quick look back in the past, not too long ago, at 2019, where we started our little pandemic, which gave us a bit of an accelerated digital transformation in many domains. One of them that was most notable was the world of videos. Since 2020, or since the end of 2019, video has been on the rise as one of the, if not the most popular format of content that users consume. And 92% of internet users aged between 16 and 64 watch video content online every week. The issues that companies such as ourselves face with these drastic changes is the question of how we can adapt quickly and efficiently to these transformations. I did mention some rules a bit earlier about what you need to think of. You have your output channels, where you're going to post your content, the rules of these social media platforms, the rules of your industry and your brand identity, legal regulations, and so on and so forth. And by the time you've actually spent in meetings figuring all this out, well, you've lost already, because you have some teenager already just picking up a phone, filming a quick video of themselves and posting it and going viral within a day. One of the main evolutions that has been going on in the world of video is a new form of video that I think is quite important, and I want to have a bit of a look at. If any of you remember, back from 2012 to 2015, Vine appeared kind of out of nowhere and became the precursor of what we now know as the short video format from today. And this new social platform boomed all over the internet, with users from all over the globe making videos and posting them online. Through this app, people turned into stars, and pretty soon you could see these videos on every single platform everywhere. So you had compilations on YouTube, people reposting stuff on Facebook. And yeah, these short video loops had a maximum duration of 6 seconds, which made the creative process quite interesting of this. And it was a very accessible kind of app, because all you needed to use it was a phone, which are the two main key features of Vine. The app wouldn't last, though, and would shut down in 2015, but it at least carved the path for its successors and served as a template. So today, we now have TikTok with videos such as these.
Like my costume?
Yo, that's so cool. How are you doing that?
Got a Nimbus 2000.
Oh, I see.
Here.
Wait, is that my longboard?
Oh, Longboardium Leviosa!
Zach, my longboard! Come on, man, get back here! Dude, not cool!
So yeah, launched in 2017, TikTok now counts about 1 billion active users a month. 16.9 hours per month per user is spent on TikTok, and these averages are only for Android users. So you can imagine that on a much broader spectrum of all devices, you have a lot more viewers and a lot more time spent on these apps. As I said earlier as well, I believe that there's 167 million hours in one internet minute that are watched on TikTok. The second such platform is YouTube. We launched YouTube Shorts in 2020. YouTube decided to launch Shorts to rival TikTok that had been growing in popularity for the last 3 years, and this corresponds to when YouTube had to rethink how to gain more viewers during the pandemic. So the short video format was the most apt decision to take. YouTube, the platform itself, counts 2 billion active users a month, average, with just shy of a whole day spent per month on the app. For Shorts, you have 15 billion views per day, which is not a negligible number. Last but not least is Instagram with Reels. That also launched in 2020. And yeah, with 1.4 billion active users a month on the app, 11.2 hours per month spent on the app, and Instagram averages the amount of time that users spend on the app at 30 minutes a day. So you have these 3 platforms with an immense audience. You have millions of people who are there. All you have to do is reach out and tap into it. And if these numbers aren't enough to convince you, well, they should, but I think these numbers should convince you that it is important nowadays, more than ever, to have a video strategy. And if you don't have one yet, I strongly urge you to start thinking about implementing one. So what is the objective that we have here when thinking about videos? Well, we have our 4 main goals, which is to produce high-quality content. We want to deliver this content over multiple channels in multiple formats. We also want to create buy-in with our stakeholders to get them interested and invested in what we're doing. And we also want to work under tight deadlines. So that's the name in the game. How we envision this is that we have our marketing team or our production team who are working hand in hand with fluid communication. So, of course, in an ideal world, that's how it would work. But there are some problems to this in practice. The first being the use of different tools. You might be working with different editors from agencies or freelance people or even internally. So you have different tools. You might be using Adobe while your editor is using DaVinci. You get different formats of videos, which are sometimes incompatible with one another. You have to work around different aspect ratios. You have to think about the whole process of how you take a video that was filmed for a vertical video and how you can flip that around to make it horizontal. And last but not least, you have to work with different file size restrictions. For example, Instagram has a file restriction of 4 gigabytes. So how do you compress your video and make it so that you can post it there? Well, with DALIM ES, we do that through the use of workflows. Our workflows can take a file and then through different kind of manipulations, we can change the formats of the videos, we can compress the file size of the videos, we can work on the aspect ratios and make them fit for different channels. Another of the main issues that we have when producing content is lost files. Because either you're sending emails to an editor who then sends it to a colleague of his, you get the work email that he's working on in between, and then you get a second email from the main editor, and then you don't know what file is what nor where it is. Well, we've solved that issue as well with our digital asset management. The goal here is to have everything we need in one single place, a single source of truth, if you like. And lastly, the main issues I'm going to be focusing on today are delays and endless email chains. These are really the crux of communication errors and causing problems of not having the right things at the right time. And yeah, the solution we have to that is the DALIM ES video viewer. So I'm going to take a bit of a deeper look at the video viewer itself and tell you a bit about how it works and what you can find in it. So because I like myself that much, I've decided to use one of the videos we made of me as an example. So this is the basic video viewer as you'll see it in ES.
Really you?
Well, it was a few months ago. So yeah, the video viewer presents itself like this. It's quite a simple interface when you look at it. So you have your main screen here in the middle with the video itself, a control bar at the bottom, and a toolbar at the top with annotations and comments on the sidebar on the right. if we take just a closer look at the control bar at the bottom, it works like any classical progress bar you see on the video. You have your play, skip buttons, you can control your volume, you have options that you can select, for example, if you have subtitles that you want to show as closed captions, and it gives you a few basic information about the video, such as how many frames you have in your video, what the current frame you're on, and what the frame rate of your video is. That will be important a bit later on. Now, for the annotations, there are just a few simple tools. Firstly, you can hide or show annotations, because when you're working on your video and you have annotations popping up left and right, well, it doesn't really make working on a video easy when you have to look behind them. So being able to show and hide them is quite useful. And then you have two basic annotation tools. One where you can just add a little pin anywhere on the video, write a comment as you can see on the screen right now, or you can draw shapes on the video. So if you want to highlight a specific area or show something moving or give an idea through shapes, you can do that as well. You can't quite see here, but you also have an option to hide the controller as well. If you're moving around on the video and you need to pinpoint something just behind it, then there's that as well for you. To the right side of this, you have, well, as I said, the sidebar, which contains all the annotations that you have. So you can see who's writing what and when. And you can also reply to these annotations either by clicking on reply in the sidebar here or directly under the annotations on the screen itself. When you're working on a file, you may have to edit it, and then you create revisions of these files. So being able to work in the same space with these revisions is also very important, which is why you can upload revisions directly onto your file, and they will appear in the revisions tab at the top here. You can then either view whichever revision you would like or compare them between each other. When comparing them, it looks something like this. You can either have different views, either a side-by-side view as you have here, which allows you to see the video kind of simultaneously, and you can clearly see the difference from one version to the other. Or you could even have an overlay view, which allows you to have a bar over your video, which allows you to see the differences in real time from one video to the other. A really cool feature that I particularly like about the video viewer is the sync functionality, which allows you to sync up two videos together. So if you have two different versions where you have a playback of a certain section, you can sync them at specific moments, so that if you add, say, a few seconds in one video, you can still have both same sections in both videos playing at the same time. And the last feature that I want to talk about is the approval function that you can see at the top right corner here as well. That is for the decision maker in your team who is in charge of approving or rejecting different files, who can say, well, this file is good, we can publish it. All he has to do is click on approve, and then your file is approved and ready to be published. Now, to prove that I'm not just saying words out of nothing, we have been doing this ourselves for quite a while. So we have multi-channel content, as you probably know. We use multiple platforms, such as YouTube, Instagram, and also LinkedIn. So we prepare different video content for all of these platforms that we publish at the same time, for example, for an event such as Euro. And of course, for everything that is normal video production, it's what we do for our video series. For example, the how-to video series, where we did 4 videos so far. The 5th one just got published today, actually, if you're curious. And yeah, that is what we do. So to conclude on this subject, I would say that video is an extremely important medium to take control of today. Mastering this domain can be quite a tricky thing to do, as we've seen that we have certain technological evolutions that can be harder for us to adapt to quickly and efficiently, harder than it is for our consumers, for example, who can do that at the drop of a hat. That being said, when done right, it can be quite an amazing way to leverage a very broad audience, and we've seen that we have a very broad audience in the millions to billions of users, which is why we strive to offer the right tools to empower people to tap into these domains and be in control of them at all times. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.